Look at that, you can see the white chocolate. The flavour of the raspberry is so spot on. G'day everybody and welcome to my Aussie garden and kitchen. If it's your first time here, my name's Darren, but you can call me Daz. And today we're going to be making raspberry and white chocolate muffins. You can probably see some of the ingredients on the bench behind me. So how about I stop talking and we just get straight into it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure my oven is turned on and preheated. So I'm just going to put that on to 180 degrees Celsius and I will pop Fahrenheit on the screen for you right now. And that's set to go. Okay, so as you can see, I've got all my ingredients here. I've got all the ingredients laid out, measured and ready to go. And what I need to do is just chop this chocolate up a little bit finer. You can see they're in disc form. And I just want to break them up so they're in pieces like this or even like this. So I'm just going to pull them out. Don't stress too much about the size. If some's smaller than the others, that's fine, they'll melt. It's all flavour and texture. So just chop them up. If you've seen my other cooking videos, please do check out my other cooking videos. I like to use a damp tea towel just so when the board is on it, it doesn't slide around, and it's a good safety tip to use when handling knives and chopping, and doesn't really go anywhere. When using bowls, the bowl sits firmer on the bench as well. It doesn't slide around as much. As I go along the mix, I'm starting to chop them slightly bigger towards the back here than when I first started here. That way you'll get the smaller parts that will melt into the mix and add a bit of flavour. And then you'll have bigger parts that will slightly melt in the mix, but they'll still be there to enjoy when you eat the muffins. So there you have it. I've got at the start here more finely chopped stuff. And then at the back here, I've got more coarser stuff here. And there's a little bit of fine stuff underneath. And I'll now scrape all this together back into the bowl. And that's the chocolate, good to go. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add my wet ingredients, which is my milk, my vegetable oil, my egg, and I'm just going to give that a bit of whisk just to blend it together. I really do recommend that you crack your egg into a bowl or a glass or something beforehand. The reason for that is that if you have an egg that's off or really bad or whatever reason, there's something wrong with it, and you crack it into your mix directly, your mix is bad. Caster sugar in next. And I like to just give that a mix into liquid and break it down a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is stop using the whisk, and I'm going to use this spatula here. Now, with the muffin mix, you don't want to beat it too long, mix it too long. You don't really want to play with it too much. So I'm now going to this spatula and I'm going to add the flour and just give it a basic mix just to blend it with the wet ingredients. As usual, I always forget something. I forgot my imitation vanilla essence. So I'll just pour that in. Just pouring it down the side of the bowl so it goes down into the liquid. Now I'm using imitation vanilla essence. So in this recipe, I've done 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla essence, but if you're using a more pure extract, just make it 1 teaspoon, that'll be fine. All right, so I'm just going to blend the flour into the mix now. So with the raspberries, you don't have to do this, But what I've done with mine is I've taken 1/3 of them out, and what I've done is pop them in the freezer in a small plastic bag. And the reason for doing this is when the raspberries defrost, they go a little bit mushy and they let out liquid, and they will leave little bits of streaks of raspberry and traces of raspberry through the batter. All right, so there's still a few lumps in there, but that's fine. What I'm going to do now is add the white chocolate, because I don't want to put the raspberries in yet, because I don't want the raspberries to go to complete mush and make pink muffins. So I'm just going to now stir in the chocolate. That looks pretty good. All right, so I'm now going to fold in the fresh raspberries. Get every single bit out of there. And I'm just doing this gently because I don't want to break them up too much. That's fine. Now, here is my frozen portion of the raspberries, and you can see there's a bit of liquid in there, and I'm just going to pour that in. Now, this is an optional thing to do. Some people don't like the color changing or having the mushier type raspberries, but I like it. The kids love it, and this is something for the kids when they get home from school today. So I'm obviously going to make it the way the kids like it. And you can probably see there how much that is changing the color already. So I'm going to stop there. So this is why I said about it being optional, because you might want a more whiter colored muffin. But as you can see here, it's changed it to that berry color. And because I haven't mixed it completely, you can still see some lighter portions. So hopefully this quantity will turn into a slightly marbled looking muffin. Okay, so I'm just gonna scrape this down and we'll fill the cupcake patties. Now you can use the muffin papers, the bigger ones, but we don't have any here at the moment, and I'm just going to use these cupcake papers. They'll be fine. I do recommend that you have an ice cream scoop, because that way you can do the same portion in every single one and get an even consistency. So we have this one here, which is a, I don't know, a half scoop, 3/4 scoop. Anyway, I'm going to use this one and see how I go. It's the first time I've used this with a mix like this, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, so what I'll do first is I'm just going to put 1 scoop in each one and see where that leaves me. Oh man, this smells so good. I can actually smell the raspberry. All right, so I'll give them a top up. Okay, so what you could do was actually hold some of the raspberries aside, and then at the very end here, just place a couple of raspberries on top and bake them. And you could also have some of the chocolate put aside and place some chocolate on top as well. But my kids are a bit fussy and they don't like them like that, so this is what I'm doing for this recipe. All right, I'm actually going to get these ones into the oven now. I'm going to take this tray and pop it in on the middle shelf in the middle of the oven. And I'm going to leave that for roughly 20 minutes. We'll see how we go. Whew. I had a courier at the front door and I had to sign for a bunch of boxes and move them, and I'm thinking, oh, what's happening with the oven? Well, the smell is crazy good. Oh, that smells so good. Yep, They feel great. So I probably could have put a bit more mix and risen them up a bit more, which I normally do, but I was worried I was going to put too much and it'd be a disaster on camera. So, hey, you learn. But the kids are going to love these. So I'm just going to pop them onto a cooling rack, because that batch that I made is still going to make probably another half a dozen. And this is the only tray that I've got. So I need to get them out of here and get the tray cooled down, because I don't want to put the new batch into an extremely hot tray. But, oh, the smell that. Smell it? Oh, wow. So my next step now is to let this cool down. And when these cool a bit more, I'm just going to sprinkle them with a bit of icing sugar. And then they're done. I'm dying to rip one open and eat it now. You know what? Let's do it. It's so hot. Look at that. Look at that. It's so hot, guys. Look at that raspberry in there. Oh, the smell. I don't know if you can see me or not. Sorry, I don't know what to say. It is so good. It's very hot. All right, here goes. Look at that, you can see the white chocolate. The flavor of the raspberry is so spot on. It's just so strong, and oh man, I'm excited, guys. I'm gonna be a superhero when these kids come home. They're very moist inside. Eating them warm is just the best. Look at that. Very hot, but thumbs up, guys, thumbs up. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna add a bit of icing sugar to the top of these. So we'll just give them a tap. Just like that. There we go, that'll do. The kids will be happy with that, I'm quite sure. I would be quite happy coming home from school and seeing that and getting to eat that, I guess. So there you go, guys. That is my first batch and I'm quite happy with it. Okay, thank you very much for watching today, and I do appreciate it, of course. I do have other cooking videos and gardening videos on my channel, so please go check them out and like and comment and all that sort of good stuff. And I will see you next time. I'm off to eat some muffins and try and leave some for the kids. All right, bye guys. Ah, man, yum.